taking you through our Scanner SDK for Android. This SDK launched in 2015 and has evolved quite a bit to meet market needs and market needs that we anticipate will show up in the next 2 years or so. The presentation is going to be broken up in a couple ways. There'll be an introduction that I'll lead with an overview of what's in the SDK, and we'll talk about an application that's a reference implementation application. Ideal for developers and great for demoing the device. I'll show you how to get it and walk you through it. Then Thurindu will do a deep dive on development. He'll take you through the SDK details, what's included in the SDK. He'll review some free sample source code from the Scanner Control app. And then he'll actually demonstrate creating an app in the SDK using Android Studio, and it'll control the beeper, enable, and disable scanning and scan barcode data. And then we'll go into a questions and answer session. So to start this off, let's talk a little bit about what this SDK can do. And it won't all be talk like this. There'll be a lot of hands-on, but at a high level, this SDK is aimed at 2 types of devices, phones and tablets in general. And it works with both corded devices. So if you're familiar with our lineup, say an MP6000 or a DS8100, DS8108 series, that's corded devices, or it can work with cordless devices, say a CS4070 or a DS8178. And when it's cordless, it's a scanner with no cradle involved going straight to your phone or tablet via a Bluetooth connection. So when you connect your device, you've got a bunch of different control. You can control the LEDs in the beeper. You can enable and disable symbologies. So if you're on a particular page and you don't want any code 128 scanned on that page, it's very easy to do for that page. You come off that page to go to the next page, you can turn it back on. You have scanning control. So you can remotely trigger a scan, and I'll demonstrate that. So a button on your phone or your tablet or your computer could trigger a scan. Or you can enable and disable scanning also, where all scanning is turned on and off. We also have event notifications. So if your scanner is available or unavailable, that's meaning paired to the OS. If your scanner is connected or disconnected, so it's not only paired to the OS but connected to the app, you have knowledge of that. If you scanned a barcode, you have knowledge of that. So your scanner has scanned a barcode, your phone or tablet will know that you've actually scanned a barcode. You can also do device configuration, turning on and off anything you want in the scanner. You can get asset tracking information, model number, serial number, data manufacturer, firmware version, battery statistics, and even update the firmware in your scanner. So with that, let's talk a little bit about this app that I was mentioning to you. It's the Zebra Scanner Control app. Available on the Play Store. So when you Google it, here's what it comes up as. And what's really nice about this app is there's a 1-minute overview. You're going to get the same for me when I present. But if you clicked on this, it would take you to YouTube and give you an overview of the app. The app is very well reviewed. It's got 4.7 stars and has a ton of capability. So let's pretend I've downloaded it. And what you're seeing right here on my desktop is a projection of my phone. So I have a S6 phone. The S8 phone has just come out. So my phone is 2 years old. It's not the fastest phone out there by any means anymore, but what you'll see is some very nice performance. So I'm projecting the screen from my phone. So one of the things is I launch my app and it comes up with the pairing barcode. So if you had tried to pair a CS4070 to an Android phone just 2 years ago, it would have been 16 steps, 11 screen changes. It's unusable by any measure of what simple ought to be. We have a patented solution now where I can take my scanner, you just heard it scan that barcode, it will automatically pair to this application. So while we're talking, I've paired to the application and it'll launch. So now I'm into the application. So if you think of a user interaction with their phone or tablet, 16 steps, 11 screen changes, no one is a genius enough to figure that out and do it right. But with this one barcode, I can automatically get into my phone or my tablet, and it's paired to my device. Where this is really nice is, let's pretend you have a bay of tablets, 10 tablets, 10 10 scanners, and I'm using the DS8178 scanner. On a different day, on the next day, you're going to pick up a tablet and use it with a different scanner. The next day again, you pick up another tablet, different random scanner. So how do you know you're properly paired between the two? Well, the pairing occurs in your hand by scanning that barcode off the screen of your device. And you see that it's really quick, no interaction required. So now that I have it paired, let's take a little look at what you can do. I can beep the beeper. So you have different beeper sequences you have control over. I can control the LEDs. Now I know you can't see this, but on the top of the scanner is a canopy that has LEDs on it. So right now it went green. Now it went blue. Now it went red. And now I've turned it off. So you have full LED control if you want to turn symbologies on and off. So for example, if I click that, UPC no longer scans. If I turn it back on, it does scan. I can even pull the trigger remotely. So if you watch this, I can pull the trigger and now it's waiting for a barcode to scan. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it to one. It just scanned that barcode. My finger wasn't on the trigger. I remotely triggered it from the application. I can also put it in pick list mode, which is ideal for scanning a bunch of barcodes that are very close together. The crosshairs of the scanner, whatever barcode touches that is all that scans. I can even vibrate the device. I don't know if you're able to hear that. It's sitting in my hand, but I can set a different vibration length. And you already saw that I can scan barcodes. So I'm actually scanning a barcode off of, in this case, it's my computer screen. But just as easily, it could have been my phone screen. And I have built-in barcodes to make it very easy to do. So I scanned a UPC, a code 128, a data matrix, or I can clear them all out. And in terms of advanced capability, so let's say that I drop my phone, or I drop my scanner, I'm sorry. You just heard it, dropped on the floor, 4 feet. And I walk away and I can't figure out where I've got it. I can hit this button called Find Scanner. It's beeping, vibrating, and the LED is going. So all of a sudden it becomes very easy to find where your device is. I can pull up asset information. So this device is a DS8178. This is the healthcare model I'm using. There's the serial number, the firmware version I have on it. It was manufactured January 9th of this year. There's the scanner name, and it's at factory defaults. One of the other nice features that this scanner has is it has the ability to give you battery statistics, and this is new. No one in the industry does this in the scanning marketplace other than us. We have two products, the DS8100 series and the DS3600 series that do this. So let's go to the battery statistics. So this battery was manufactured in November of 16, and there's the model number of the battery and the design capacity. So brand new, Zebra Technologies ensures that you will have 2,450 milliamps in the battery. Now, we also have some other things built in. The state of health of the battery, it's 100%. It's brand new. It had 0 charge cycles on it. Now, my current charge on the battery is only 32%. So I intentionally didn't charge it so you would see it's not even close to fully charged. It's only a third charged at 32%. And there's the remaining charge capacity of the battery. But the battery is a smart battery. It can project. If it were fully charged, it would have 2,596 milliamp hours. So I said that its design capacity, we at Zebra ensure that it will at least be 2,450 milliamp hours, brand new, but we're actually at 2,596. So this is really nice because I know what the charge of my battery is. It's 32%, what it would be if it were full if I charged it all the way. I can even tell you the present temperature of the battery. It's 69 degrees. The highest temperature it's hit is 73 and the lowest is 68. So if I can do all this stuff from my phone, imagine what you can do on an enterprise level remotely. And also on the canopy of the device, the front of the device, is a LED that actually tells you if the battery is low or if it's at the proper level, which is green. So you don't have to do all this remotely to see if your charge on your scanner is good. We also have some advanced capabilities. If I want to update the firmware of the scanner, I can do that from my phone. So here I've started the process, and it's going to upgrade it. So these are the kinds of things that we provide you in this free app available on the Google Play Store. And what I find really nice is you can demonstrate this very easily to someone now because you have an app that's a reference implementation. It's done exactly the way we recommend you do it. Free source code exists for this app. And you could walk into a manager and say, let me show you this. And like what I've done is I walk into an account, I bring my phone with me, I demonstrate this. I may project my phone on a computer so that everyone in the room can see it like we're doing here, or I may just hand my phone around and give them the scanner and show them. When I'm done, I say, do you mind if can I use your phone? Can I download this app for you? And I leave the scanner with them. I walked into a number of accounts where I've downloaded this app for them, and the sales cycle continues even though I'm not there anymore. Now, my customer, let's say it's a manager, is showing his developers, look at this app, all the things you need. You just copy and paste the source code, which Therindu is going to show you a little later. So that's the power of our Android SDK. We're going to show you it's very easy to use, and almost the entire presentation is going to be from the user guide. So what that tells you is the user guide is pretty thorough, or we wouldn't be able to use the information from it. And not only is the user guide thorough, the SDK easy to use, there's a reference implementation application for you to source. You can get your source code from it, you can demonstrate it to people, and you can see what the ideal behavior ought to be. And with that, Therindu, let me go ahead and transfer control over to you.
Okay, Ken.
So Therindu is going to take over now and start presenting a deeper dive on the developer side.
Hi all, my name is Therindu, and I'm going to demonstrate you how to write an application like scanner control application that Ken demonstrated. So I'm going to use Zebra Scanner SDK for Android developer guide as my reference material, and I will walk through using the free source code you are getting with our SDK. So first of all, I would like to go through an overview of this Android SDK. So basically what is available with the SDK. You can find scan control application which Ken demonstrated earlier, and the Android SDK library file. It's a AAR file which you can use in your application, and the source code of the scanner control application, or it's the reference implementation you should use for your development. And if you go to the capabilities, so these are the capabilities we have. So for data, we support two protocols. For codeless, we support SSI or Bluetooth. For coded scanners, we support USB Snappy. So as Ken mentioned, you can control plenty of things in the scanner using this SDK, and as well as you can do the remote management like Ken explained. And if you compare this with Windows Scan SDK, following two things can be noted. So we currently don't support imaging and video, and for the moment two applications cannot connect into a single scanner. So these are the components I mentioned you earlier available in our SDK. So if you go to the supported scanner list, we support most of all our new scanner models, and please note that for CS4070 scanner you have to use firmware version drive E or above. And what do you need to install or use SDK is available in this developer guide. If you go to the system requirement page, you can find out all the informations. Basically, what you know, it is Android device that runs Android KitKat or later with Bluetooth. And if you are doing any USB development, you should use Android device with USB OTG support. And if you are developing any application using our SDK, you have to use Android Studio version 1.3 or above. You have to use API level 19 or above to develop your application.
So Thurindu, this is Dan. I had a question that came in, and I think now's a good time to ask. It's a question around which devices this SDK and the scanner setup tool that Ken went through works on. So if someone is using a Zebra mobile computer with a scanner like the TC55, are these tools that work with that, or are these only for standalone scanners?
Okay. So basically you can use any Android devices. If you take our EMC device like TC55, it's again Android device. Yes, you can develop application using SDK, and you can connect any Zebra scanner to this application you are writing on top of our SDK. I think yes, you can use our Zebra scanners as well as EMC devices.
Okay, but then for the tool that Ken reviewed with us, that is something only for Zebra scanners, not for the mobile computers, correct? So if we wanted to set up the scanner on a TC55, we would not use that tool.
Yeah, for inbuilt scanner, I should say no. But if you are connecting a external scanner, yes, you should use.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, I'm going to present you how to set your development environment. So first of all, you need to download the SDK. You should go to one of these URL, and you can download the SDK from this page. What you get is a zip package. So once you download it, this is the zip package you are getting. The content of the zip package is like this. You will get the scanner control application APK file and the AR file which you should include in your application, and the source code of the scanner control application, and the Java documentation. It's Java doc. You can see the method declaration and everything. So this is the content of the zip package you are getting. So let's build the sample application reference implementation first. So I have installed Android Studio 2.3 in my PC. So this is how you should build the reference implementation. Yes, now it's built. You can run in your device by clicking this one. So next I'm going to present you how to include the AAR, which is a library I mentioned earlier, into your project. This is how you should include the AR file in your project. New, and go to module, and you should click import JAOAR, and then you have to browse for the AAR which you downloaded. Here. Now after including that, you should put the reference as a dependency. You should browse the, you can use this one to add a module dependency. I have already added into this project. So here's what you see after you include this as a dependency. Okay. Next I'm going to give you some overview of the API. So basically I'm going to walk through this developer guide. So this is how you should start writing your own application. As I mentioned earlier, you can create your own project and include AAR into that project. And after that, what you have to do is create a SDK handle object like this. And I have a project created for this with the simple UI. And this is the UI. And I have created all the UI components, and I'm going to add our SDK components into this UI. And this is how you should do that. First of all, you need to create the SDK handler object, and I'm going to copy and paste code segments from our developer guide to this Android Studio project. And then what you have to do is to receive SDK events, you have to set event delegate. Basically, it's the class that handle your events. So you have to implement the this interface, and I have already implemented that interface. Once you implement that interface, you will have to implement all the methods available in that interface. So then you have to set the set your class as the SDK delegate. So this is how you should do that. Then there are few operation modes in with our SDK. First one is Bluetooth. Second one is USB Snappy. So you can have more information in our Java documentation. I will show you one simple example. Now this is Java doc we have. So as I mentioned earlier, we have everything document to use for a developer. So this is the operation mode I mentioned to you earlier. So there are few three operational mode, basically the Bluetooth normal and Snappy, and if you don't want any communication, you can set it to that mode itself. So I'm going to use Bluetooth normal and Snappy in this application. So okay, then what you have to do is subscribing for events. Basically we have 5 event types. As Ken mentioned earlier, we have scan appearance and disappearance events, and establishment, connection establishment, and termination events, and barcode events. So you can subscribe events like this. Once you subscribe for events, you can connect to a scanner. What you have to do is, first of all, you need to enable the scanner detection. Then you will get scanner appearance and disappearance notifications. Okay. Now then you can connect to the scanner. So basically, in this developer guide, uh, you will get the source code for manual connection. But as Ken mentioned, you can connect to a scanner by scanning one single barcode. So what I'm going to do is, in this application, I'm going to show you how to get that barcode and connect to a device from that barcode. So by these two functions, you can get the available scanner list as well as active scanner list. Once you connect to a scanner, connect to any available scanner, that scanner become an active scanner. So if you are going to manually connect to a scanner, what you have to do is you have to uh, you have to call this method with the scanner ID you are getting in the scanner list. So what I'm going to do is use the pairing barcode. So how you should get the pairing barcode is like this. And in the API we have a function called Scanner SDK get pairing barcode. So you will have to provide the protocol you need to connect and the configuration. Basically, I am using the current configuration of the scan and Bluetooth Cradle host mode. Once you get this barcode view object, you can put it into any frame layout and arrange it as you wanted. So I have already arranged that content. So when I launch this application, I will see that barcode. So once I scan that barcode, the scanner will connect automatically to this application. So when it connected, I will get the connection established event. So basically, I have to handle that event uh, in my application. So this is how I handle that. And next I will walk through some small functionality like beeping scan. So you can find some small code segments here. So beep the scanner. So this is how you should beep the scanner. So I have a small button in my application. So once I click this, I want to beep my connected scanner. So this is how you should write the code for that. So this is the on-click handler of that button. So I'm going to copy and paste this code segment from our developer guide into this application. This definition is not there in this application, so I will type some number. It is the beep code I should use. And this is the scanner ID you should use. I will use the scan ID I'm getting when I connect it. Okay. Then I will go through how to scan barcodes and receive barcode events uh, from in our application. So what you have to do is you have to handle DCS event barcode event handler in your application. Uh, So this is how you should handle this event. So as you can see in this code segment, I have handled it through a event handler or a message parser. So this is a best practice you should use while using this SDK. So I have a handler to update the UI based on the event I am receiving. So this is the best practice you should use in your application when handling events. So now I will see the scan barcode in this area in my application. So next I'm going to demonstrate to you how to enable and disable scanning in your scanner. In the developer guide you will find this code segment under disabling the scanner. So to disable the scanner, what you have to do is use this scanner disable opcode available with the API. And I forgot to mention you earlier. When executing commands, I have always use async task. This is also best practice. You can directly call the API without async task, but I have used async task because that the API call may take some time to process in the scanner. So your application UI may be not responsive for that moment. So to avoid that, I have used async task, and it is again a best practice I'm recommending. This is how you should disable the scanner. After disabling it, you can enable the scanner by using the enable opcode. Okay, now my application is ready. So now I'm going to build the application, and I'm going to run this application in a Samsung tab base which has API 6. Yes, this is the pairing barcode, and I'm going to scan this pairing barcode. Once it is scanned, you have to confirm that you should pair with your scanner, and you will see the scanner model number and the scanner name here. So those informations comes with the event that occurred after connecting a scanner. So I'm going to scan a few barcodes now. So you can see the content of the barcode in this text area, and furthermore you will get the barcode type as well as the scanner ID that barcode is scanned. And I'm going to beep the scanner now. So you can hear the beep sound, and unfortunately you can't see enabling and disabling scanners. Once I click this, I can't, when I trigger this scanner, you won't see the illumination in this scanner. So basically you can't scan barcode once you disable it, and after enabling you can scan barcodes again. Okay, this is basically how you should use our SDK, and I already told you that best practices you should use async task to execute any commands to scanner, because it may take some time, and for that time being your application may be not responding if you are not using async tasks. And once you receive events, you can use message handlers or unknown UI thread function method to update your UI based on the event you receive. So here are the frequency asked questions: whether JPOS exists in Android. Currently no, because we don't find any industry standard service objects or control objects for JPOS. Once the standard is available, we can create service object. And I thought of a second question: does this SDK support Bluetooth low energy, which is very popular now? Yes, it will be supported in our next release.